Consumer sentiment falling in March for the first time in 4 months. The number sits at 63.4, about a 5% decline from February. That's according to the University of Michigan. The data was not tied to the fall of Silicon Valley Bank. 85% of survey respondents were completed prior to the bank's collapse, the decline representing a broader look at the state of the consumer amid high inflation and macroeconomic uncertainty. Despite that uncertainty, one company is coming out on top. That is Build-A-Bear Workshop, recording its most profitable year in 2022. And now the company says it can beat that number in 23. Joining us now is Sharon Price. John, the president and CEO of Build-A-Bear Workshop. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for being in studio. How do you explain that record year in 2022 when the consumer is beginning to cut back and trade down?
Well, I think that a lot of it has to do with Build-A-Bear being such an important part of celebrations and memory making. And we also happen to be in a situation where we expanded our addressable market to be 40% of our sales are to teens and adults with collectibles and gifting. And there's just a time right now in I suppose it's related to post-COVID environment when people just want to be a little more lighthearted and have some fun together and get back out and shop together.
You say adults.
It's called kidulting now.
Okay.
It's a big trend.
The After Dark platform.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good example of that. We actually, when we launched that a few years ago, had some pickup, but last year when we brought it out, we had 1 billion media impressions in a single week because people, I think, just really want to be a little more lighthearted. And you know what? It's about time.
And something that certainly helps there is that adults are the ones with the money at the end of the day. And certainly we've seen price points across the board really increase here, inflation taking a toll on all consumers' wallets. And so walk us through, how have prices changed in the past few years to Build-A-Bear? Are they more expensive, and where are you seeing higher costs specifically?
Well, one of the things that we can do, because we're a vertical retailer, we conceive, manufacture, ship everything, do everything ourselves, so that ultimately it's in the store. It's our store, right? So we're able to have a lot of price discretion, and we're very careful in the way we use that discretion. Some of these collectibles, as you kind of alluded to, that are targeted toward the older consumer, like Ted Lasso or the Harry Potter products, we have a little more price latitude there. Now, we always want to be accessible particularly to our kid consumers. So we also have on the other end a low entry-level price point, as well as our birthday treat bear, which can be up to, our birthday is about a third of our business, where you can come in on your birthday month and buy a birthday treat bear for the age you are turning. So if you're turning 1 or 2 years old, you can come in and get an entire Build-A-Bear experience, including putting in the heart, going through the ceremony for $2. So there's a way to get a furry friend.
My birthday will cost a little bit more than that.
Well, you don't have to use the special.
But when you think about the physical footprint that you guys have, of course, you're also expanding in digital. You launched in the metaverse and Roblox. You announced a partnership with Hello Sunshine.
Yeah.
How do you envision the future footprint of Build-A-Bears? Are more people shopping in the store, or are they just ordering a bear online? Takes away from some of that personalization experience, maybe.
Well, that's a great question, but you have to understand, as we've expanded our addressable market and we're multi-generational, we turned 25 last year, all brands need to think about how they can meet the needs of the guests where the guest wants you to be, right? So on the collectible side, sometimes that older consumer really does want to do the most frictionless, fewer clicks. I just want my next Pokemon. But the kid, usually the family, now growing number of teens, want to come into the store and go through the experience and create memorable moments, maybe even some social moments that they can share. So we want to be there for everyone. So that expansion into Roblox, that's because that's where kids want to be. Media's changed dramatically, and expansion in entertainment. We've sold 225 million Build-A-Bears in the last 25 years. But for us, that's just not a stuffed animal. That's 225 million stories. We've always been a storyteller. So of course we've expanded into content creation, and it's just been a great, just getting off the ground with Reese Witherspoon's company. Hello Sunshine has been a great start for us, and we already have movies in the pipeline. Yeah.
You had me at Ted Lasso, of course. That's a bear I would take a selfie with. But these partnerships, presumably that one with Apple, Warner Brothers Discovery with Harry Potter, Disney with Star Wars, and so many Disney characters. How do those work? Is there one that jumps out as a bestseller? Do you have any insights on that regard?
We have a lot of bestsellers, and we really value our best-in-class partners. So I think it just, you have to look at it on to whom and why. So, you know, Harry Potter is an evergreen property for us, and that would be like Pokemon. Some of these properties, we do them sort of as a one-off, as a punch, something that's going on in the zeitgeist, like the Elvis bear. So that serves a different purpose for us. So for us, we love all our furry friends. And they do allow us to push into different spaces. Sometimes those...
That arrangement, you pay Apple, you pay Warner Brothers, you license those
we license the intellectual property from those property owners, yes. Just like other people license our intellectual property.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it a certain timeline that you look at, or really limited time offers and also potential longer rollouts as well?
It depends on the property. Like for an evergreen, like a Star Wars, it's been multiple years for us. But a shorter, maybe sometimes it'll be just a punch on a feature film, and that'll be a shorter license.
Now, I do want to quickly touch on, you do have a new book out, and it's really about finding value in your moments that you've had as CEO of Build-A-Bear, but also values that you've used to really propel your story forward. The story of Build-A-Bear, what do you think is the biggest lesson that you've learned during this role and leading it during the pandemic?
Oh, that's such a deep question that does require a lot of reflection. So much reflection, I had to write a book about it. Just kidding. But Stories in Heart is about unlocking the power of your personal stories to create a life that you love. And it really does highlight different moments in my life, all the way back to childhood, but ending with 2 chapters about Build-A-Bear, where there was a tremendous amount of introspection leading this company through COVID, the retail apocalypse, Brexit, a lot of ups and downs. And I think that some of that reflection has allowed me to become a better leader over time. It's always a journey. You never get there. But I think just coming in every day with an open heart about, keeping your consumer in the center, your brand in the center, and always balancing that with the needs of our investors, our board, and all of our stockholders and shareholders. I think having an open approach to try to drive value with everyone in mind has been of great benefit.
That's a great lesson. You've come out the other side doing awfully well. Sharon Price-John, CEO of Build-A-Bear Workshops. Wonderful to have you here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right.